Welcome to the No Bull Political Arena with your hosts, Sophia Nelson, Bill O'Reilly, Brian Mistro, and TJ McCormick. It's real voices, raw politics, and no bullshit. Hi, everybody. This is Brian Mistro with the No Bull Political Arena. Thank you for joining us tonight. I am here with Bill O'Reilly and TJ McCormick. We did give Sophia the night off again, so you get stuck with the guys. So we've got quite a few things to talk about tonight. I think one of the things that we want to do too is make sure that we know who that you're talking to, that we know who the different people that are a part of the show. And so I'm going to hand it over to Bill. He's got some questions. I think that he's going to push back to me, and I'll explain kind of some of my background, if that'll help everybody that's watching the show. So
yeah, how's everybody tonight? Nice, thanks for joining us.
Good. This will help me too, because I have no idea what the hell Brian Mistro has ever done.
Right.
I wonder myself sometimes.
Yes. I know he's got stock in a black T-shirt company. That I know.
Yep. Always wear my black for
tomorrow we'll end the end of the official first week, and we've got a lot of shows rolling out over the next few weeks,
and a lot of good stuff. Yeah.
A lot of really good stuff, entertaining stuff, not all politics. But I got a question for you, Brian, because this was your brainchild, your mastermind. What are you up to? What are we trying to accomplish here, so that people understand what this show is trying to be over time, and other shows within the No Bull Media Network group?
So without going into too much detail, we want to make sure that we are being an honest purveyor of politics on this show, but also in the other shows. It's people that know what they're talking about, talking to other people that know what they talk about, without playing the bullshit, using our name, using the bullshit line of just party straight politics. And you're actually going to see that tonight. I'm scared to tell you, but if we can be a voice of truth in this country, because right now what we've got, in my opinion, is too much of MSM, the big networks that are pushing a particular narrative, okay? And it doesn't just happen on the left, it happens on the right, okay? And that's not who we are. We're going to create something different where people can interact, where you can understand who we are, that we're going to be fair. We're going to come down on Trump. We're going to come down on a Nancy Pelosi or whoever it is. That's the point of what we're doing, so that you have some fun listening to it. You learn something. And at the end of the day, you realize that what we're purveying back to our audience is the truth. So,
and Brian, you've been a political player in the country for well over a decade now, and you were a huge player in the third party movement for a while. You switched industries. You were very successful in another industry. What woke you up into politics? What was the light bulb that went off?
So, which will be no surprise to anybody that's either listened to me give a speech or any of these other shows.
I know what he's going to say, TJ.
There was a particular person by the name of Donald Trump, I think it was, okay, that in 2015 coming down the escalator, and I've been a conservative my whole life. I grew up in Texas, okay, East Texas. So I've been a conservative my whole life. And when he was coming down the escalator, I said, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Now, my view hasn't changed about him. So I was going to initially run for Congress in Washington State, and I changed my mind. And instead I said, you know what I want to do is I can't be a Republican because of Donald Trump. So I'm going to create a new political party. And, what do? You go file some paperwork and you've got a political party and something going. And it was grossly naive. I mean, I've learned so much, but it's interesting because from that third party movement, that's how I got to meet Bill. That's how I met you, Bill, was in the third party movement. Yep. And what we did is I realized that you can't just start up a third party in a single state. It doesn't work. You're not going to live long enough for it to be able to grow it. So I traveled around the country, and we merged independent political parties and different state parties all together under one large party called the Alliance.
How many did you have? Like, you were like a lot.
Yeah, so we had, when I left, I believe it was 31 states. We were the fifth largest political party. People don't understand that states control their own elections. And so if a state political party that has party line ballot access merges with you, you keep their ballot access. And so by doing that, we took a party within a few months and grew it faster than Ross Perot did in the 90s.
Wow.
So we had 31 states. We had party line ballot access in multiple states. We had folks running for all levels of government, with the exception of president. While I was there, they did run a presidential candidate after I left, but I ran that for several years. It was a lot of fun. I learned a lot and met a lot of great people like you, Bill, and now TJ.
Yeah, and now you're stuck in this industry.
Yeah, I enjoy politics. I enjoy talking about it. It drives me crazy, as you'll see in this show. I can lose my temper a little bit with some stuff, but it's all in good faith. Of, hey, if we can have discussions with each other, and I can talk to a Democrat, I can talk to a Republican, I can talk to MAGA, whatever. I think by having those discussions and doing what we're doing and engaging people, it's going to help the country get better. It'll make a better country.
I just love the fact, and TJ, I'm sure will want to weigh in, but I love the fact that you just went and did this. Like I remember when we first met, you told me you lived on a sailboat and raised your children on a sailboat for 14 years. 14 years. Like nobody does that. People think about it.
He's the Quincy of conservative politics.
Exactly.
I did. So as Bill mentioned, I was successful professionally young in my career. And my
what's that
wife,
like?
my wife,
what's that like? I'm not yet, and I'm in my old career.
Well, it's I decided to go into politics so I could throw it all away, by the way. So my wife was pregnant 7 or 8 months, and I came home one day and I told her, hey, you know what? Let's do something crazy. We already had the nursery set up. This is our first child. I said, let's just sell everything.
How old are you at this point?
The rest of it, I was 30, 31, I think, maybe.
Wow.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yep.
I said, let's just sell it all, buy a sailboat and take off. And she didn't kill me, which was a good possibility. She said, let's do it. So that was, we were on and off a couple of times, but that was roughly 14 years.
And you actually, like, you schooled your children on a boat.
Yeah, we did. It was, we called it boat school, but it was homeschool on the boat. It's a absolutely wonderful life. I'd love to talk about that maybe sometime on a different show, but it's a wonderful life. It's 95% pure bliss and 5% pure terror. So it's as long as you keep things in perspective.
And I'm sure there's a lot of squinting involved too, right?
There is. And people think that when you get a sailboat, and you're doing this, it's all, margaritas and rainbows and everything. But the reality is that you're working on that damn boat every single day.
It's part Jimmy. It's
every
part
single
Jimmy
day.
Buffett, part Jimmy Buffett, part Quint.
Yeah. So it's there is a reality to life. You're not sitting around drinking margaritas all day long. Don't I wish? But yeah, it was a great life. Yeah.
Very cool. Very, very cool. And I'm so grateful that you got to hear us to start this.
Yeah.
This is going to get cool. Like those of you watching this, stay tuned. This is going to get cool. We have a lot of shows rolling out with a lot of really cool people.
Yeah. We do. Yeah. And really, it's a great group that we've got here too, because we ideologically do not all agree. Matter of fact, I think we all four are a little bit different in what we agree, but we're honest about it. Yeah.
Sure. It's just, in some cases, it's a bit of a nuance that separates us. And some of the items, it's a great chasm, but that makes for great conversation. And I think it's representative of the population out there, especially, the just right of center, just left of center.
Yeah.
And I think too, the willingness to slightly lose a temper here and there over the course of a conversation, the willingness to then make up in real time and find agreement is, I think, also helpful for people to see out there. And I think the fact that we are fed up, I think the fact that this channel, this media group is going to be populated by people who have seen enough of all the
100%.
Standard fare.
100%.
It's almost a guarantee. It is just by definition, based on our DNA, it's a guarantee that you're not going to see standard stuff. There is no bullshit here. That's it.
And I got to say, on the consultant side, and there's some former members of Congress are going to be involved. There's some really cool people again, and they often go on. I've gone on for years. I'm a political consultant, and I go on for clients, and I have to go and do the talking points and the rest of it. And you go on and you say, I wish I could really just say what I think someday. That's why we're here.
Boom.
TJ, you do it on ABC Radio. You've got a national show. In
Mhm.
fact, TJ's got. We'll talk about you sometime, but TJ
Sure.
has the number one overnight show in America right now.
Yeah, I want to talk. Let's do TJ tomorrow because he's got
Sure.
such a great background, TJ, and I'd like to dedicate some time to that. And then Bill, you as well, and then with Sophia, and so everybody kind of
Yeah.
gets an idea about who we are. And
Yep.
and so you
Who
understand
these
that.
crazy people you're listening to.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, exactly. So let's definitely do that. I know that we're a little bit squished on time today, so I want to do something, TJ, and this is very difficult for me.
Okay, I'll take off my.
Uh,
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. That usually prefaces. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. I gave you a window into my. Go ahead.
yeah, I thanks, TJ. So I'm gonna say something, and it's difficult. Okay.
Gonna break up with me.
Congratulations, Donald Trump.
What?
So,
What'd you say?
you're gonna make me say it again?
Yeah.
Congratulations, Donald Trump.
Yeah. Did you just say congratulations, Donald Trump?
Ah.
That is so funny.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
no, yeah.
You have
That's
no
great.
idea.
But you know what,
If you're
Brian?
watching this show,
good for you. Good for
and
you.
you've known me for 10 years that I've been 11 years that I've been doing this, those words have never come out of my mouth. Okay, it's very difficult. I am going to go rinse my mouth out as soon as this show's over. But hey, we just talked about we've got to be honest on this show. Okay,
Right.
so I do have Trump derangement syndrome. Okay, but on the flip side of that, if I just criticize him consistently, no matter what he does, even
Right.
when something turns out right, I mean,
Sure.
what is my opinion worth, right?
Exactly.
So I'm going to give a huge plus to Donald Trump today.
Mm.
The
Balls and strikes, right, Brian? Balls and strikes.
yeah, I think it's mostly balls for him, but and no pun intended there, but
Yep.
yeah,
Lots of balls there.
so for those that don't know,
Yeah.
Axios is now reporting, and we'll put this up so you can take a look at it. Axios is now reporting that the crime rate, I think it's in 32 of the largest cities, is the lowest that it has been since, prepare for this, 1900.
Wonderful.
1900. That's
Bummer
how
about New York,
low the crime rate has gone. And Donald Trump owns that. Okay. I got no problem with him owning the other stuff, but he owns that. And I don't know if that's because of his calling out the National Guard, which I'm against, in the cities. I don't know if that's because of his border policy. I don't know the specifics of it, but congratulations. Nobody else has done that in what, 126 years. So
Yeah,
congratulations. I hate to say it, Donald Trump. Do you think it's the border, TJ? I know you think that's one of the best things that he's done.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's got to be some sort of contribution there. It's got to be a general prevailing sense that he means business, that law enforcement means business, that even, you're seeing less and less crowing. I hadn't really considered this until just this moment. Haven't seen much of those pushback press conferences from the Democrat mayors, not in a couple months. You haven't seen Chicago standing there saying, get out of us. You haven't seen Atlanta. You haven't seen Boston. You haven't seen. So maybe they're willing to have their police engaged. Maybe we're seeing some broken windows being implemented around there.
Yeah, I think it's a couple of things. One, I agree with you, TJ, and we saw the miracle in New York, and how much the cultural change of law enforcement is enforcing versus it's not affects real life. But I remember going on to a radio show years ago in New York, and it was during the Giuliani miracle, and it was a miracle in New York. I mean, I grew up in the city. We moved out in the 70s because it was so bad. I mean, it was terrible. And then I came back for school and stayed. And I remember going on that radio show, and the Democrat on the show was trying to say it's demographics. It's demographics. There's less young people. There's less young people. I do think that's part of this one. is that the demographically there are fewer people that typically get into trouble. It's just statistically, and that happens too. But Trump gets full credit for it. You're right; he is president, and I think setting the tone that law enforcement is serious has a startling effect. I've seen it firsthand in New York. It was anyone who didn't come to New York during those days really missed something, because it went from a hellhole, like a really scary place in the late 80s, early 90s, and 70s, 60s, to a spectacular international city for about 20 years.
And you're specifically
until Bill de
saying
Blasio got
New
a
York
hold of
City.
it.
Yeah,
New York City.
Yeah.
Until the hard left, and I'm not blaming it on all the Democrats, but the hard left Democrats like de Blasio and now Mamdani, and they came and absolutely destroyed everything that we did to fix the city. Broken windows was the one.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because I did read about that, but you guys will know more about it. But wasn't one of the things that they did was to try to build a more of a relationship with the police and the communities by having, you know, a kind of a community police officer. He knows the people, interfacing with the folks and so forth.
The relationship was, there's Officer McCormick. If I step out of line, he's going to bust me. That was the relationship.
Well, that was the old school relationship. That was with the beat cop and, officer.
The CPOPs. They did the CPOPs in the 90s. Yeah. The community patrol officer program they had. It was called CPOP. And that was Dinkins. And that was soft shit. That's Mondami stuff. You know what I mean? Let's go in there and talk. And there's something to that, for truant officers and that type of stuff like that. That's not what worked here.
I mean, it went to the point.
You jump a subway turnstile, you get arrested. You pee in the street, you get
broken
arrested.
Windows.
You drink in the street, you get arrested. That's what happened. And crime just collapsed. It just collapsed. It dropped like 70, 80%.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I think these days, what I'm thinking about when I mentioned the liberal, the Democrats, mayors and stuff, I think there must have been more than a few conversations in some of these Democrat-led cities around the country saying, I don't want to be made to look bad by this guy. I do not want Trump to feel like he can send in. Can we crack down without letting people know we're cracking down? Can we quietly lower crime? So we can keep our street cred as liberals, but also not invite, the feds. So I bet you. Yeah, I bet you.
And the thing also, like in New York, Brian, and cities around the country, it's a few hundred people that are doing most of the crimes. They do them over and over, especially now because we have no cash bail here. Somebody goes and robs a place, they're out, and they don't even get brought in. They get a ticket. It's nothing. You're talking about affecting a few hundred people in big cities. That could be done. And when those 300 people or a few hundred people are afraid of getting arrested, if they step out of line or they do something too outwardly criminal, they're going to get busted. It changes the behavior.
Yeah. Well, and we've seen
spend the time in jail.
We've seen the exact opposite. And again, I'm going to beat up on Portland and Seattle again, where they've done nearly the exact opposite. Now, I'm going to say this has been corrected. We've got kind of a new sheriff in town, and with the exception of Seattle, not Seattle, but a new sheriff in town of Portland. But for several years, Portland went from the #1 city in the country where everybody was going to I don't know what number it was a couple of years ago, but a mass exodus of businesses leaving. And it's because you go downtown and there's homeless tents everywhere. There's drug needles. There's all the worst of the worst everywhere.
You go through with a bulldozer and you bulldoze it away. Well, and you say no more.
Well, and shit, these people they'll go put their tents up in people's backyards, and it takes a court order to get rid of them. Okay, so.
In New York, it takes a court order, and the court says, no, you can't get rid of them. You have people with obvious mental health issues that are walking around screaming crazy crap all over the place, swinging at people, swinging stuff in the street, and they go right back out again.
Lighting people on fire. To me, the ultimate metaphor moment was just last year. What was it? Last spring? When was that? Last spring?
Queens,
when the woman... And because of our day and age, video of a human being standing on fire, engulfed in flames.
I don't know that story. So tell me that story.
On a subway, and insane.
I didn't hear about that. Tell the story.
an insane, crazy person, a criminal, a lifetime guy who, in and out of hospitals, in and out of jails, drug problems, mental health problems, at the base of it all, a recidivist. The guy was, it was a late night train.
Middle of the
I
day.
believe-
No, it was middle of the day.
oh, was it middle of the day? Middle of the
daytime. Yeah,
day,
yeah.
and it was in Brooklyn, right? It was a Brooklyn train stop,
Queens,
wasn't it?
Queens.
All right,
Yeah.
I'm wrong on everything.
That's right. No, you got it though.
This
Other
happened
than
in
that,
this happened in Budapest. Yeah, no, yeah, but it was in
Queens.
Queens. But and there, the train pulls into the station, the doors are open, and this guy threw gasoline, threw an accelerant on this woman,
Oh my
and lit her on
God.
sitting there
fire.
on the subway.
Oh
And
my
she
God.
and the video, and there's video of the woman standing in the doors, and it's like it's next level. It's movies. It's the
He
stuff
didn't
of
know her.
horror.
He
And it's
just
like
randomly picked out one person and
Yep. Like that guy stabbing the woman in
Like
North
the girl,
Carolina.
right? Like the
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Ukrainian
that-
girl
what-
in Carolina,
yeah, the
Charlotte.
Yeah,
Carolina.
and the thing is, it was a 1 or 2 day story. That's how bad things are. It was a 1 or 2 day story because something comes next.
You know, and-
Almost without exception, when you read a story and you grab the Post, the Daily News, any of the New York papers, almost without exception, as you're reading the story about a crime like that, a random punch in the face, a push onto the tracks, somebody throws feces at some, you're waiting for that moment in the story when they say, previously released 30 has a track record of 30 40 convictions along the way, etc., arrests along the way, almost without exception, to Bill's point, that 400 or 500 people in the city of millions.
Yeah, last week I have a goddaughter who goes to NYU where I went, and one of her fellow students last week walking down 8th Street, 9 o'clock in the morning for class. Someone walked up behind her and stabbed her.
Jesus.
No reason, just stabbed her. 18-year-old kid, just stabbed her.
Well, I see your certainly it's the getting arrested part of it, but for the folks that don't know, was it North Carolina, I think, on the train.
Yeah, North Carolina.
There was obviously a mentally ill person was sitting behind a young woman. What was she, 18 years old or 21 years old? Just sitting here minding her business, and he just stands up, grabs a knife, and starts stabbing her. It obviously kills her. She escapes Ukraine and gets killed on a train in America. What a story! But where I was going with that is they interviewed his mother about that, and she said, he's been having mental health problems his entire life. He shouldn't have been out there in the first place. He should have been back in a mental health. He should have never left the hospital. Okay,
Take him off the street. Absolutely.
At some point, we wonder, what is the responsibility of the government and our system to make sure that those people are not back out on the streets? How many people have to die, before we start getting serious about putting some people away for their own mental health?
Let me ask you a question. Here you go. This is great. This is a great free-flowing conversation. This is why you people tune into this. This has been floating through my. What's that?
Better be good. You got a big setup going.
This has been floating through my head for a few days, and I've seen it float as a meme on social media, and this is beyond the reach of my education. Is there any hope of someday making judges susceptible to suit?
Responsible.
I mean, it has jumped the shark with activist judges letting people go. I mean, because there's a record. We see what they say in court. We know what they've seen. We know the evidence. We know the recidivist in front of them. And so, I mean, if my little girl was murdered, and somebody's gonna take this in their own hands, and I know it's happened before. But anyway, there you go. I wonder, is there any chance that could ever happen in America?
How do you legislate that? I mean, because the judges are, in many respects, they're restrained by the laws that are written by their legislature. Okay. And so they're responsible for following those laws, at least in theory. We all know, anybody that watches the show knows that they go off reservations sometimes. Okay. But TJ, you make a great point. There should be some accountability. If a police officer does that, and a police officer has somebody that he's supposed to arrest, I got the warrant right here, but I'm going to let you go today. He's making up the law in his own hands. He's off the force. Okay. He's out of there. Why don't we have the same thing for judges?
There's traditional review boards, but it's all clubby. They're all in the same club, you know?
I
You
mean,
have those
how many,
boards that
right?
do.
Yeah. Go ahead, Joy,
Mhm.
Billy. Sorry.
No, I had really nothing more to add, but only that I don't think you could do that because, like an elected official, you have some immunity built in, so that you don't take a public position and then get bankrupted by a lawsuit. For so many years, forever, you had the white judge and the white kid in front of him and the parent there, and it's like, oh, he's a good kid, let him go. A lot of black kids didn't get that
Mm,
break.
Hmm.
And the
mm,
white judge would say, he looks like, they're not thinking this, but he looks like me, he looks like my cousin, he looks like this kind of thing. He's going to do fine. He's screwed up. Give him a break.
Hmm.
Black kids didn't get those breaks.
mm.
And so I'm not saying it's right, but it's understandable.
This ain't about the stolen bike or the pie off the windowsill. This is
No,
about beating
you make a
somebody
good
to a
point.
pulp.
It's a fair point. But I could see why it happens.
I know we're running short on time. I just want to throw out a little personal story, and because it connects into this. When I was in fourth grade in Dallas, the Dallas Independent School District decided to have this wonderful idea that all of South Dallas was black, all of North Dallas was white. So let's take a group of kids, white kids from North and East Dallas. Let's put them on a bus and send them 45 minutes south, and then let's take a small bus of black kids and let's ship them up to North Dallas, and that's how we're going to fix all of our racial segregation issues.
Hmm.
Well, yours truly was on part of the short bus. Okay, I was a part of that, and
Wow.
I went down. I think it was the name of the middle school was Ryan Hart, and don't quote me on that, people that are watching this. So you're Ryan Hart, but it's in Crockett's Jasmine Crockett's legislature in Texas. So,
Hmm.
anyways, long story short, when I was scared to death the entire time in that school. It was fights, it was gangs, it was every single day I would hide out in that school, scared to death to go out there. Not because, and it wasn't they're just picking on the white kids, okay?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
It was a low income, bad area, okay? And you get the kids that are part of that. So where I'm segueing into that is to Bill's point. You know, how do you grow up as a black kid or a Hispanic or a white kid? Okay, grow up in that, and then you're 18 years old or you're 16 years old or whatever, and you're supposed to assimilate with the folks that grew up in a school districts or nice communities and homes and stuff like that. I'm sorry, it doesn't work. Okay, you've lived hell, and these kids have gone through hell. So there has to. I would build. I think you've got to have some level of flexibility.
Not
With
violent crimes. I agree with
law.
TJ. Right, violent crimes,
Yeah, I
but
mean, it
kids
just
need a break. I mean, I was a trouble kid. I ended up in 16 at rehab for 3 years because I was constantly getting in trouble.
did
I
you?
was, yeah, 3 years of shaved head, scrubbing tiles. It was like that kind of stuff. I mean, rough group. It was people coming from Rikers, Vietnam vets. They're strung out and stuff. And I was a kid. You learn what makes people. You know what I mean? And you learn. You get to learn that. That people can turn their lives around. And
Yeah.
sometimes you just need a break. You don't need 50 breaks. If you got 50 breaks, you're hustling the system.
I
Right.
just know,
But it,
and my reason for going down the path of talking about judges of color is because I've read accounts of comments they've made at sentencings and at decisions to let people out, and I've seen comments about the color of the race of the defendant, and I've seen that from white judges too, and I just think you have to take it on the merits of the thing. I think you're doing a disservice to the kid if you let them out and let them go without any sort of rehabilitation or attempt at such rehabilitation based on, I don't know.
If they're on drugs, if they've got mental health issues, okay, I'm sorry, they don't need to go back out on the streets. You're doing it for their own good, not just for the public good. Okay.
I'm a big drug court guy. I'm a big which
yeah,
which also which includes everything, DUI, all that stuff, drug drug sales, all that. I'm a big drug court guy. And the best drug courts that I've ever been involved in, as somebody who worked in the New York State legislature, the best drug courts were the strictest drug courts, where
Yes.
you had almost without exception those judges who sit on drug courts. They do it. It's a passion for them. They desperately want to see people get well, and they also must have an absolute PhD in Al-Anon and boundaries and all that stuff, because they are strict as hell. And these sons of bitches, you wobble just a little bit too much.
Does
You know
it
what I
change?
mean?
Does it change their lives, TJ? Do they come
I
out
have
for the better
seen,
for it?
oh God, I have been privileged to see, and look, only by the grace of God, I'm sober myself. So I mean, I'm blessed that I never saw the other side of a jail cell. I should have. I earned it, but I never ended up there. But anyway, the point is I have been in my previous roles, I've been to several drug court graduations, and it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's magnificent. Young, old. I've seen seniors.
I beat
Not
it.
everybody makes it, but some of them do.
I beat it.
Not everyone.
All right,
Yep.
we're gonna shut it down here. First of all, I want to say, everybody, thank you for joining us. We are going to introduce both of our current hosts and guests, so that you have a good idea who we are, who you're talking to, what our background is, and it might even influence your opinion a little bit on some of our stuff. I do want to throw out a couple of things. Number one, drop some comments. Hey, I like this. I don't like this. We read those. Okay. So if there's something you like, or go to our YouTube site, and I'm going to tell you to sign up to it and subscribe to our channel, but go to it and say, hey, can you do this? Or ask us a question. Can you all talk about this? Because we've got some wonderful people on this panel, both hosts and guests that we bring in. So our YouTube channel, please subscribe to it. It doesn't cost you a penny. It is at No Bull Media Group. It's at the @ No Bull Media Group. And it's not just our program. You'll get our news. We've got multiple other shows that are starting up. You'll get to watch those promos. There's a lot of stuff happening. Please subscribe to it. Doesn't cost you a thing, but it'll keep you in tune on some really, really good content and some good folks.
Wait till we open our merch shop and we sell black T-shirts and Irish sweaters.
Hey, you know what? I'll probably go broke buying them all. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening. We will see you tomorrow. And we're going to have some really good stuff to talk about tomorrow, especially the Board of Peace, which we didn't get to today. So Trump got his accolades for me today. Don't count on it tomorrow. All right. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, TJ. Thanks, Bill, for joining. Appreciate it, everybody. And we will see you tomorrow. The No Bull Political Arena is on all major social media platforms. Make sure to give us and your host a follow.
Hey everybody, this is Sophia Nelson. Follow me at I Am Sophia Nelson on every one of my social media platforms.
I'm Bill O'Reilly, and you can reach me at Twitter at WFBOR.
Hey, this is TJ. Follow me on X or Twitter at TJ McCormack.
This is Brian Mistro, and you can follow me on X at Brian_Mistro, or follow along on Facebook at Brian.Mistro.
A No Bull Media Group member.